and welcome to UpFront. I'm Cathy Homes, and we are filming today on the unceded traditional territories of the Snuneymuxw First Nations. You may be wondering why I'm sitting in this seat and not Dean Thullner Veljacic, and that's because he's asked me if I would step in and host today, and we're going to interview him and his business partner, Jeremy Mailloux. Hey, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on my show.
I know, it just seemed so weird. It seemed awkward to begin the show this way, but what's not awkward is the work that you've been doing in community and what Jeremy has been doing as well. And so I'm really excited to have you both talking about some upcoming events. Mm-hmm. Dean, can you tell the audience a little bit about why you asked me to interview you?
Yeah, Cathy, I wanted to get you to interview me truly because we are bringing an amazing event to Nanaimo. But also, over the past 2 years when I've done the show, I've talked about my background with fundraising, and I thought I would discuss how I got into fundraising. Yeah. So the truth of the story is that regretfully, in the mid-'80s, during the height of the AIDS epidemic, I was diagnosed HIV positive.
Yeah.
And long story short, I almost died twice, once in St. Paul's Hospital and once in St. Boniface Hospital. It was a long journey. It was 20 years of fighting for my life. And in 2011, St. Paul's Hospital made an announcement that they had created a cocktail, the HAART therapy, and that therapy now is the reason why everybody who's HIV positive, if they have the income or availability to this medication, will live their life expectancy. But during these difficult years, the hardest thing was watching not only the tremendous amount of people that died, the young men, we lost sons, uncles, fathers, brothers, co-workers, neighbors. It was outrageous. We all just went through COVID. We all saw the fear of COVID. So there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of stigma, and not a lot of people were able to get the help they needed because of that, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that really struck me was community and the power of community. And I watched families march down the street. I watched husbands and boyfriends and moms and dads say, this is ridiculous. We need social justice here. We need medication. We need people to open their hearts and their doors and support these people. And through that power of community, inspired me. And so when St. Paul's made that announcement of this cocktail, I thought, I'm going to start a project. I'm going to call it Brilliant, and I'm going to thank St. Paul's for all the good work that they did. Yeah. So, you know, when I think about those kinds of aha moments as you're going through the processes of what to do next during this time, fundraising became natural for you. So can you tell us a little bit about the history as to how that part became so much a part of your giving back to community? Well, again, I want to bring it back to community for sure. And when I first did this fundraiser to thank St. Paul's Hospital, I thought, well, what I'm going to do is turn the traditional trajectory of fundraising upside down. Instead of us being at the top, we're going to be at the bottom, and we're going to ask a tremendous amount of artists, hairdressers, makeup artists, fashion designers, drag queens, and more, to perform and to be able to give of themselves. And what became really clear was that if we provided a platform for local artists to express themselves on their own terms in the spirit of giving, that we could actually generate a lot of money and a lot of awareness. So we did the Brilliant campaign for about 5 or 6 years. Then all of a sudden I started to think, wait a minute, now all these people are living, including myself, my life expectancy. What about the mental health? What about things like, survival syndrome? What about dealing with the stigma? What about all these kids that are struggling? So we changed the name, we turned it into Shine, and we started doing an event for mental health and addiction. And that was tremendously successful. In fact, we did a Shine here in Nanaimo. You were part of that. Jeremy was there as well.
Very much so.
And we raised a tremendous amount of money, and it was very successful. Yeah. And so now we're launching a new project called Glitter.
I love the name Glitter. The feel of glitter is really right there. How did you come up with the names, just really quickly? I know I'm kind of going off a little bit.
Well, we just went from Brilliant to Shine to Glitter. It just seemed natural.
It just seems natural, and it is very shiny. It's very, very beautiful, the work that's being done. Jeremy, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what brings you to this table and to this work?
Sure. Well, I met Dean when he threw the Shine event for us at AVI. I was a manager there at that point. And when he approached us and talked about the opportunity to be able to do some earmarked money for mental health, we're running a clinic that was trying to do everything that we possibly could in the community there. And we were able to bring in a significant amount of money to be able to support mental health that was earmarked around youth particularly. So folks that know me know that I'm not only a local TV personality, like the rest of you here, but that I work in healthcare and with nonprofits at the grassroots level, right? So the opportunity, when Dean approached me about this, the opportunity to sort of pay that good deed forward and continue to put back in the community. A lot of folks will think community is the thing that happens when you need to show up for it, right? And I think the important thing is when community shows up for you, you have to keep the circle going. And this is such a good, we'll talk more about the founders or about the Foundry eventually, but it's such a good opportunity.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that our experience with Shine in 2024 was an extraordinary opportunity to see what kind of incredible talent and incredible work is already being done in community, and to expand on that in such a brilliant way, I think is super important. So, that kind of leads us to our next kind of question, which is...
Before that, though, I want to make sure we mention that we have another business partner who's not here today,
Oh, yes,
right?
of course,
His name is Ernest von Rosen, and he is taking over the marketing. And Cathy, you're part of the team, and you're doing communications.
I am.
And I just wanted to mention that it's not just Jeremy and I, that there's a whole plethora, there's a vast amount of people that are stepping forward to make sure that this event is successful.
And there's no doubt that it'll be successful. Your background speaks for itself. You've raised over $5 million in your tenure. This is not your first rodeo, for lack of better words. Really, you have sparked a passion of this work that translate into dollars helping community at an incredibly strong level. And so, the idea of having another event in our community, but this one catering really to youth, a demographic that doesn't seem to get what they need often enough. Jeremy, can you talk to us a little bit about, because you did mention Foundry, I know we're going to talk about that later, but what is the event? Why don't we tell people what the event is, shall we?
I'm going to pass that to the artistic director.
Okay, artistic director, there we go. We know it's a gala. I have a gown already.
Well, I think the important thing to recognize is that when you have a community of, like I said, artists, fashion designers, makeup artists, hairdressers, drag queens, circus performers, talent.
Yeah.
And when you pile them all into a show, it's inevitably successful. It's like that old shampoo commercial, I told two friends and told two friends. So we've got 100 people on stage, 200 people behind the scenes. It generates a lot of hype in a small community.
It does.
But I think the other thing is that it's important to remember that not everyone can give on the same capacity. So for someone to be able to dance, or someone to be able to perform, or someone to be able to walk the runway to support mental health can be quite meaningful for a lot of people. And I think we've sort of become aware now that mental health is something that we don't need to be ashamed of. There's certainly a lack of resources. I think only 20% of the youth in Canada is getting the support that they need at this time. That's why we're so proud to be supporting Foundry, which Jeremy's going to talk about in a sec. But I think it's really not about us. It's really about the fact that the community is going to gather together to express themselves on their own terms and be able to generate not only awareness and not only money, but to talk about mental health and to try to remove that stigma.
Well, yes, the mental health piece is such a huge piece that is often neglected in our conversations because it is a taboo conversation for many people. And I think it's really important that we remove that taboo. Having said that, you have managed to not only take some of the greatest talent that we have in Nanaimo, but you've also been able to bridge that with the choreography of incredible dancing that goes with it, a palette of color, which is absolutely extraordinary. So when you walk into this kind of an event, you're feeling the magic, and it inspires you to want to do more and to learn more, right? So Glitter 2026, is our... And I'll say our because I feel
Please do.
I do. I feel so proud of being part of it. I mean, we all of us in this conversation right now, we do a lot of volunteer work ourselves. We have work that needs to be done at every level, and we keep finding ourselves noticing in community where there are gaps, and youth have a number of gaps. We need to be able to support them, but to see them rise to the occasion to learn skills that they can also transform their lives in the future with, as being part of this is really helpful. And all the volunteers that are doing things. So there's a lot of really great pieces that go with.
And again, go to glitter.com
Absolutely.
and you can hit the website, and there's all sorts of ways for people to get involved. You can volunteer to be in the show, you can volunteer to be behind the scenes, you can sponsor the event, or you can just donate. So lots of ways. But I want Jeremy to talk about Foundry, because the recipient is super important.
It's huge, and Foundry really is an extraordinary organization. You get to share it all now.
Not only is it an extraordinary organization, it's one that operates very quietly.
Yes.
And creates huge differences in outcomes. It can really create positive outcomes for people. So I've taken some notes just in case. It's important to underline that I don't work for the Foundry. I'm talking about them, not speaking on their behalf, right?
Of course.
Because like Glitter, the Foundry is for Nanaimo by Nanaimo. So the Foundries were launched by the province of British Columbia in 2015 to address the sort of increasingly evident gap in support for youth mental health.
Yes.
The goal was really, really simple, but really powerful. They wanted to create a place where young people could walk in and receive all their mental health services and possibly other services under one roof in one place. As you know, I've worked in nonprofits and in healthcare, and getting folks to walk in your front door is often the hardest thing. So getting them to walk into 5 front doors to solve one problem can be really, really complex. The Foundry serves people from the ages of 12 to 24, and they bring together mental health care, primary care, peer support, substance use services, leadership development. It really is a one-stop shop. Instead of navigating several systems, young people are able to go to that one door and have all their needs met in a specific place. The Foundry's helped tens of thousands of people at I believe we're at 15 different centers all across the province, and each Foundry is different and unique to the community that it's serving and supporting. So programs are actually designed by the Foundry itself. This grant is being held to do this by Kwame Lalum. So it is an Indigenous-based but open to everybody in the community service. And I think this is such a powerful piece of this. There's a lot of lip service given to using Indigenous informed practices in mental health and in healthcare. And this is actually cutting all the middlemen aside and really basing it in the community for the community. Supporting them means that we're able to support people early on before they're able to fall through the cracks.
Right.
For me, I only know about the Foundry because a dear friend of mine had a really positive experience with the Vancouver location around HIV. So to know that, things like that can be addressed at the ground level, that it's not just mental health, but it's even primary health care, is really powerful and makes me feel very, very proud to be involved. And I like the bookends with community. This is what Dean's events have been based on all this time.
Yes.
So to sort of have that bookend parallel of for the community, by the community is so exciting.
It really is. And what we know for sure is the Foundry has an incredible reputation throughout the province. It is spoken of at the Division of Family Practice. It's spoken of in many nonprofit agencies. Certainly, many Indigenous communities speak of it highly as well. And I think that what's important about it is that the Foundry is, as you pointed out so eloquently, it's the one-stop shop, right? And when a youth has a challenge or has to make a decision to get help, they make that decision and they need it quickly. It's not something that can be waited on for sure.
Well, the other thing here, Cathy, is this is a call to action, because
it is, absolutely.
What we have found, one of the things that inspired Jeremy and Ernest and I to start this project was we found out that basically from I don't know, Duncan to Courtney, there's one child psychiatrist that is the referral for all youth in peril.
Right.
So imagine if you have a child who is suicidal or perhaps having mental health issues or identity, all sorts of problems, right? If you go to NRGH, I want to say these guys are amazing. Our hospital's amazing. They get these kids on their feet and they do a great job.
Yeah.
But then they have to turn around and tell the parents that it's a 1.5 year wait to get a psychiatrist.
Yes.
How do you tell a child that is in peril they have to wait 1.5 years?
Agreed.
Getting these doors open for Foundry means we're going to be saving lives. That means that there's no wait time anymore. I think what this project represents and what it's going to do for the community is not only going to be beautiful and fun and glittery, but it's actually going to have a huge impact.
Absolutely, and it's a practical measure. People need help and they need it now, right? And it's agreed. I mean, primary care has been challenging for a lot of people at all ages and at all levels, but knowing that you have a child that needs support and watching that child go through difficulties with no support is even more traumatic. So,
well, and let's face it, Nanaimo is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada.
Huge.
And the demographic of the 25 to 45-year-old people that are moving here with families, they want health care and they want security and safety for their children.
absolutely. Absolutely. Are there other partnerships that go with this as well? The Foundry is receiving the dollars, but talk about the community partnerships, if you will. I know you had mentioned earlier about there being, some businesses that are supporting us and sponsoring the program. What does that look like?
Well, so there's various components to Glitter. The talent section is amazing. We can already leak out that we've got some incredible singers, Yona Christensen, Laura Kelsey, we have Boo we have Joshua Holloway, we've got Nico Rhodes. It's incredible talent.
Yes.
But we also have, Crimson Coast Dance Society. We've got some of there's clothing stores on Commercial Drive that are contributing. We also have some of the hair salons and the makeup artists that are coming together. So really, think Cirque du Soleil, right?
Yes,
It's theme-based, and it is an 1.5 hour show with a 20-minute intermission.
Yeah.
If you do buy a ticket, it's $125 to sit at a table. That provides a complimentary drink, you get some appetizers, and you get to see this fantastic show. And afterwards, there's a cocktail reception, meet and greet all the artists. Yeah. So it's sort of an unusual platform for Nanaimo, but it's going to be well received, I'm sure.
It's very gala-ish. There's a lot of really beautiful pieces that come to this. And really, for $125, if you go to a show anywhere, you're spending that kind of money. Why not keep the money in community and make it for a good cause? Yeah. So the call to action to me is really, really important.
Sorry to interrupt, but we like to keep the price point at affordable because we want people to also be able to enjoy some of the opportunities to donate at the event.
Exactly.
So there's balloon pop and win, there's a painting auction, there's 50-50. Like I said earlier, not everyone can give in the same capacity, so our job is to create a gala where everybody can help out.
Yeah, absolutely. When is it? Where is it? How is it? Give us all the deets.
September 12th at Vancouver Island Conference Center is the night that we're having it. I believe we're looking at a 7 o'clock start for cocktail.
6:30, 7 o'clock, 700 guests. We
Easy.
sold 700 guests last time we did Shine, no problem. And in fact, if you're watching the show when the tickets go on sale, don't wait to buy your tickets.
Push now. Let's go. I do encourage our listeners and our viewers to really, really pay attention to this piece of it. And, because if you can't come to the event, there are other ways that you can support the Foundry. What are some of those ways? Do we have an option for people to donate if they're not able to
There
attend?
will be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be a direct link on the website.
Which is fantastic. Why don't we tell people what that website is? I know we're going to have it on our screen, but...
Glitter.com.
Glitter.com. That's very... Glitter. No, it's Glitter 2026.
Glitterevent.com.
Glitter event.
See, Ernest should be here.
This is when we need Ernest. Exactly.
Yeah, Ernest should be here.
Well, I think your viewers, our viewers, can really sort of see how we work together as a team. Very clearly, we're able to do this. But I'm really proud of the fact that Nanaimo itself works as a team. When it counts, we show up. Nanaimoites are always there for the important stuff. So that part I'm really, really excited about. I see, Jeremy, that you want to jump in because I can feel it from here that you've got something else to share.
There's another great way to get involved. We have a lot of room still for sponsors.
Okay.
I want to leak 2 of our sponsors that have signed on early. We've only been seeking corporate and community level sponsorships for a couple of weeks. But we've been lucky enough to have Hello Ferry support us.
Yay.
We really appreciate Xander France and the team there. And the perennial people you can count on to support community events in Nanaimo, Country Grocer. We're still looking for somebody to own the event year in and year out. Yes. So if that feels good for an organization, or you think you could contribute even a couple of $100 to defer from the costs, that money ends up going into the Foundry. So anything we save in ticket sales or in community level donations ends up going to the Foundry, which is really, really helpful. A couple of weeks ago, we're talking about being able to volunteer as a performer, but I feel like our performer slots are getting tight. So we're looking for great folks to help decorate the day of, organize the event as it goes through. So we have different fundraising things during the event and pieces like that. But so volunteering is still there, but if you know someone who's thinking about sponsorship, by all means, you can reach out and see our package just under Glitter Events. It's really, really reasonable and includes a lot of community focus for your organization.
Well, and I think our sponsorship package is very attainable. It's not, our highest level is not that high, and you can go down to a smaller level, and there's a lot of benefits and recognitions that you get with that. And a lot of the benefits and recognitions are actually getting tickets at a table. So if you're listening and you're a corporation, it would be beneficial to be a sponsor, because it's going to guarantee you're going to get a seat in an event that may sell out very quickly.
Yeah, there's something to be said with that kind of a call to action. I love that, that we're able to actually ask for what we need, and to know that it's going to a place where children are going to see some really incredible results as a direct consequence of this event. I'm excited about the event for lots of reasons. From a communications perspective, I love sharing good information with anybody and everybody. And so I think that the feedback that we're getting so far, the buzz that we've been getting so far, has been quite extraordinary. And in fact, you and I were talking just the other day about how we were getting the buzz from places, people around the world have been having a look at what we've been doing so far. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Well, yeah, we just, Ernest, again, who's not here with us, had talked to me the other day about our algorithms, and it is, well, it's incredible. The momentum is fierce.
The momentum is fierce. How can the community get involved? Is there a way that the community can participate beyond tickets? You were talking about volunteering, and I just want to remind us that for the most part, this is volunteer driven, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we need more volunteers for sure. Is there anything else we can do for a call to action? Actually, I'm going to shift that question. What's your favorite part? Because you've been doing this a long time. What's your favorite part about Glitter 2026?
My favorite part of any event is walking out on stage the night of the event and feeling the energy from the tremendous amount of people who have decided to step up and to give back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible to see.
Yeah. As a participant last year, I can tell you that it was electrifying. And the buzz lasted for a long time thereafter. Jeremy, how about you?
There's so many things. Just trying to keep up with this guy alone is probably the most invigorating piece about this. This is one of the most energetic fundraisers that I've ever met in my life, and is an inspiration. The other piece is being able to work with Kwame Lalum and the way they sort of open their arms when we approach them. We approached them, and said, hey. And they were so kind. We've learned so much already about how to move with humility, which, we're showy people. So being able to move with humility like that and support, a lot of folks will see this as an Indigenous operation and think, oh, well, it must be funded. And because it is open to everybody in the community and not just Indigenous people, they're unable to sort of seek the traditional funding methods that people might perceive. They never were easy funding methods, but the perception is that they were there and available. So this is something that, it's a whole full invention where from the ground up, this machine is getting built. And to be welcomed with open arms and to be treated with kindness and not suspicion, and to do part of what I think is good work that we all need to be doing, right? This is a real piece of personal reconciliation that I can participate in without making it be about me, you know? So
1,000%, 1,000%. And it just really does show us the level of partnerships, right, that we have within the community and how we're all building upon that for a greater thing. It's for the community, about the community, and shared within the community for not only Kwame Lalem, but also for the people that live nearby, that are going to the high schools, that are needing these extra supports. It's just massive that
when we
the
say
way
the
this goes.
Foundry, as soon as we name the Foundry, the temperature in a room changes. Immediately. It has been great with like sponsorship people. If they have personal experience with the Foundry, then they know that early intervention changes outcomes. Because they're able to say, my cousin wouldn't be here without it.
Oh, yes.
Or my cousin would have had a much different life without it. So yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah. I'm getting chills. I always get chills when we talk about this really fantastic work. We're running out of time. This is sort of the end of the road for our conversation for the moment. It certainly won't be the last that we talk about. It's just the very beginning. We're just getting, this beginning to launch, and soon we'll see the wings flying for sure for September the 12th. You have just a couple of seconds. What's your call to action?
My call to action is if you feel like walking the runway and be a model, and I'm not looking for models, I'm looking for community people of all variations. We celebrate diversity and inclusion. We're looking for hairstylists and makeup artists, and we're looking for anyone who feels that they want to be part of this magnificent event.
Thank you, Dean. It's been a pleasure co-hosting your show.
Thanks for having me on my show.
Thank you for allowing me to be the host on UpFront. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.